Is there supposed to be a certain protocol for people to check in?
No, and I begin with me, and then he can speak, and they can speak for the other generation. But I'm a never, you know what I mean? We don't have time for no sucker shit like that.
I have the resilience to go against anybody. There's nobody that's too ill. Those are the guys that you would choose not to go against at that point.
This was the idea of my father, seeing that it was connections to Drake and Kanye, and that they were such iconic figures, and with them going through things.
Looks like 50 Cent just dropped a crazy bomb, and it's shaking up way more than just rap drama. The beef with Jay Prince and the Supreme McGriff crew might be deeper than anyone imagined, and 50 ain't holding back on the leaks. This ain't just a clash of egos anymore. At first, folks thought it was the usual, 50 refusing to check in and Jay Prince feeling disrespected. But now, 50's out here straight up saying there was a real plan to get him touched, and he's throwing names out like it's nothing. And get this, he's even calling out Supreme's own son as part of it. That right there takes this to a whole other level. And Rick Ross? Yeah, he might be in the mix too. He's been spotted linking up with some of 50's known rivals, looking like he's trying to fan the flames even more. Now that 50 is putting all these hidden connections on blast, Jay Prince, Supreme's old ties, and all these quiet power moves, it's starting to make sense. So now people are asking, did 50 really leave Houston just cause? Or was there a whole setup in motion behind the scenes? Let's run it back. It all started in Houston.
Know the reason, but what is the reason why you moved to Houston?
Well, look, first of all, every time I've experienced Houston, when I was out here, I ran into random acts of kindness. The people have been good to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of the places that I'm like, man, or maybe Houston, like Houston or Miami popped into my head. Mm-hmm. They said 58%. I said, what? You my partner? The IRS is my partner now? Oh no, all you get is a Yankee hat? I'm going to Houston. Yeah.
That's Jay Prince's zone. He moves like the city is his own kingdom. And when rappers come through, the unspoken rule is, you check in. They say it's about showing respect, but for a lot of people, it feels more like a quiet extortion play, especially when bad things still happen to folks even after they check in. So when 50 Cent made that move to Houston, Jay Prince expected him to fall in line. But 50, he wasn't going for that. No calls, no check-ins, no nods, nothing. He made it clear he didn't owe anybody anything. He had his own security, his own bankroll, and he wasn't about to play by street codes he didn't live by. And to Jay Prince, that wasn't just disrespect. That was straight up war paint. 50 wasn't just crashing there for a while either. He fully relocated. He even tweeted, "I love New York, but I live in Houston now." At first, folks thought it was just a smart tax move. And yeah, that made sense. New York taxes are no joke, and 50's always thinking business first. Yeah, New York taxes are wild, and 50's a sharp businessman. But that wasn't the whole story. He came to Houston with huge plans, a $20 million G-Unit film studio, alcohol branding plays, and even community give-back moves like helping out schools. He wasn't just popping in, he was building a whole empire from the ground up. But here's where it gets spicy. He did all of this on Jay Prince's turf. No check-in, no heads up, no nod to the so-called gatekeepers, nothing. That kind of move definitely rubbed some folks the wrong way, and almost right away, whispers started flying. People started talking, saying 50 was being blocked behind the scenes, that certain opportunities were getting mysteriously closed off. Some claimed eyes were always on him. Others swore there were crews just waiting for him to slip. But 50, he didn't fold, not even a little. He held his ground and actually turned up the pressure. To him, this whole check-in thing sounded like a fancy word for what it really was: extortion. And you know what? He might not be wrong. Even artists who did check in got caught in bad situations. Take Takeoff, checked in and still ended up gone. Jacob the Jeweler got pressed. XXXTentacion tried to lay low and still got hit. So in 50's mind, why pay for protection that clearly don't protect anything? He saw it for what it was: fake safety, smoke and mirrors. And for someone who survived real life or death moments, he wasn't about to play scared. Then suddenly, things flipped. Out of nowhere, 50 pulled out of Houston, quietly, no big announcement. He shut down the whole film studio project and shifted everything to Shreveport, Louisiana. It was a low-key move, but it said everything. People were straight up confused. This was the same city that literally gave him the key to the streets. So why walk away?
Man, it's for you, man. You the only one in Miami with that, baby. You know the see what it is. You know the vibes. See what it is. Yeah.
The answer came later in a single sentence during an interview. Houston didn't embrace me the way I expected. Boom! That line said it all. Something went left. The energy shifted. He didn't feel safe no more. But even while all this chaos was bubbling up, 50 was still getting flowers. He was out there as the Grand Marshal at the Thanksgiving parade. Like nothing was wrong on the surface. November 24th was officially named 50 Cent Day in Houston. The mayor was giving him flowers, the crowd was cheering, and the whole city seemed to be showing him love, except for one man, Jay Prince. He wasn't clapping, he wasn't smiling, and word behind the scenes, he was tight about it. From Jay Prince's point of view, 50 was making bold moves, walking through his city with all the shine, all the power, and still refusing to check in. This wasn't about popularity anymore. This was about control. And 50, he was straight up taking it. But just when it looked like things might chill out, another name dropped into the mix that made everything way hotter: Supreme McGriff. Now, if you know anything about 50's past, you know that name ain't light. Back in the early 2000s, 50 got sprayed up, 9 shots. And a lot of folks still believe Supreme's crew had hands in that hit. It was right after 50 dropped that infamous track, Ghetto Quran, where he put names out there and spilled street secrets about some of the most feared legends in Queens, Supreme being one of them. In the game, that wasn't just music. It was seen as snitching. And Supreme, he didn't take that lightly at all. Not long after, 50 caught those bullets. But he survived, blew up, and flipped that whole ordeal into a powerful come-up. He built his entire brand off that survivor image. Supreme, on the other hand, went down hard, life behind bars. But through it all, he never flipped, never told, never broke. That loyalty, it earned him respect in certain circles, even from behind the wall. Meanwhile, 50 turned that same saga into interviews, verses, movies, money. He capitalized on the pain while Supreme sat in a cell, stewing, and he never forgot. Then enters Irv Gotti, a major player in this whole mess. Irv wasn't just cool with Supreme, they were tight like family. Irv even helped bankroll Supreme's legal defense when the pressure was on. He stayed loyal, never snitched, never turned away. That ride or die loyalty, Supreme respected it. But 50, he tore Irv apart, destroyed Murder Inc., buried Ja Rule's career, and kept the pressure on for years. Even after Irv's passing, 50 didn't let up. After news broke that Irv had died from a stroke, 50 posted a shady pic of himself smoking hookah next to a fake tombstone with the caption, "I'm smoking on dat Gotti pack. Nay, God bless him. LOL."
Was to be a certain protocol for people to check in?
No, and I begin with me, and then he can speak, and they can speak for the other generation. But never, you know what I mean? We don't have time for no sucker shit like that.
And just the day before, when the stroke hit, 50 had already posted, "Damn, brutal, cold, and very on brand for 50. 50 said he wanted Supreme to see his new shows, but that did not sit right with Supreme's son, McGriff Jr. He went off on Instagram, heated. He said, "If I said I was smoking on your mother and your grandfather pack, ninjas would be telling me I'm wrong, right?" Then he called 50 a clown and added, "Y'all really love this clown. Well, I'm gonna always give the same energy. Nobody can tell me nothing." To him, Irv Gotti was family, so disrespecting Irv was like spitting on Supreme himself. And that's when things got real. 50 started playing mind games on social media. Little sneak posts, mysterious messages, stuff like snakes in the grass, and enemies move in silence. He made it sound like he knew something heavy was going down, and he wasn't scared. Then the real shock hit. 50 allegedly dropped some online hints linking Jay Prince's crew and Supreme McGriff Jr. in private talks. The streets started buzzing. Was there a plan to press 50? Get him to back down, or worse? That's what the whispers were saying, and 50 didn't even try to hide it. He wanted the public to see it all. He even started trolling, aimed directly at Jay Prince, straight up daring him to pop out. like he was inviting the smoke just to show he wasn't scared of nobody. And just when it couldn't get hotter, Rick Ross slid into the picture. Now remember, 50 and Ross, been beefing for years. Court cases, personal shots, family digs, they never rocked with each other. But now Ross was spotted chilling with people tied to Supreme's circle. To most folks, that might seem random, but to 50, that wasn't no coincidence. That looked like an alliance. Ross linking up with the son of the man who allegedly tried to end 50's life? That's not just bold, that's a statement. And 50 saw it as a warning shot. Now here's where it goes off the rails.
For me to start a new relationship with Houston, I'm excited about it. I had an opportunity. I had a lot of fun things for the kids. I think that they're really going to get a chance to appreciate and enjoy it.
Word in the streets is that Meetup wasn't just friendly vibes. Allegedly, it was part of a larger plan. Some insiders say McGriff Jr. is done keeping it cute, especially with 50 still throwing shade at Irv Gotti, even after he passed. And with Jay Prince in the mix, the pressure's on full blast. Jay Prince reportedly ain't just mad about the check-in thing anymore. He's looking to make an example. Because if 50 slides without showing respect, what's stopping every other rapper from doing the same? The whole check-in culture could start crumbling. And real talk, 50 Cent better watch his back. Because when you look into Jay Prince's past, you realize just how deep his reach really goes. Jay Prince ain't just some music exec with industry ties. This man's name rings out in real street circles. Word is he didn't just build a label. He came up with serious backing and heavy connections. Back in the late 80s, his name was already showing up in federal files. The whispers say he had direct roots from Mexico running product deep into the South, Texas, Louisiana, even all the way to Chicago. And this wasn't no street corner hustle either. We're talking big leagues, organized, global, and right around that time, he allegedly linked up with Larry Hoover, the founder of the Gangster Disciples. Once that connection was in place, the whole pipeline shifted. Houston to the Midwest lit up, and guess who was sitting right at the center of it all? Jay Prince. Then out of nowhere, Rap-A-Lot Records shows up on the scene. On the surface, it looked like a legit label, giving Houston talent their shine. But folks on the street were saying something else. People believed the label was a front, a smooth way to clean up all that street money and make it look like music was the main hustle. And the feds, they weren't asleep at the wheel. By 1988, the DEA had launched a full-blown investigation into Jay Prince and Rap-A-Lot. They were on it, tracking shipments, tapping phones, flipping drivers, putting heat on close associates. They built a whole case that was about to pop. But just when it seemed like everything was about to explode, the whole thing just disappeared. By the late 90s, the U.S. Attorney General dropped the case with zero noise. No charges, no trial, no headlines. Just silence. And moves like that, they don't happen without some serious power behind the scenes. Fast forward to right now, and 50 Cent might be stomping on toes that have been dangerous for decades. So now you gotta ask, is 50 being paranoid? Or is he smart, putting the truth out before something goes down? Is there really a setup moving in the shadows? Or is this just a wild power play with egos battling it out in the spotlight? Let us know what you think. Hit the comments and drop your take, because this might just be the start of something huge. And don't forget, smash that like button, subscribe to Juicy Scoop TV, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss none of the heat. This drama, oh, it's far from over.